This is Snap-N-Seal F-Male connector installation in just 3 easy steps. You prepare the cable, push on the connector, and compress it with the tool. You're all done. Now let's do this in a little bit more detail here. First you want to make sure that the end of the cable is cut off squarely. Get rid of your excess material. Get the cable placed in the tool right up to that cable stop and hold the cable close. Rotate the tool about 3 or 4 turns and just pull off the excess pieces. At this point, while you're folding those braid wires back, you want to make sure that there's no cut braid wires, no loose strips of foil, none of the braid wires wrapped around the center conductor. Make sure the center conductor is straight, clean, and not scored. If you're using a tri-shield cable, make sure you take and just do a little snip on that foil, and make sure you remove that foil. Get that foil completely off in there, and then start folding back your braid wires. And if you're using quad shield, make sure you fold back the outer braid wires as shown here, and again, score that foil with the cutters and remove that outer foil, and then you can get your inner braid wires all folded back. Now we're ready to position the connector over the cable end. Make sure the connector is fully bottomed. The end of the cable dielectric has got to be flush with the flat surface that's down inside the coupling nut. Now we're ready to place the connector in the compression tool and compress the connector until the O-ring is not visible. After you got the connector fully compressed and you verified that the O-ring isn't visible, there's no need to trim the center conductor because what we've used was a cable stop tool that ensures that the center conductor gets the proper length. For indoor installations, just remember to go ahead and fully tighten the connector hand tight. That's about in the area of 3 to 5 inch-pounds of torque, about 10 inch-pounds max. Anything more, you're going to damage your indoor equipment. Snap-N-Seal RCA, it's the same steps as mentioned prior. The only difference is the cable insertion depth. After the cable is fully prepared and checked, just line the end of the cable dielectric beside the groove on the connector, and then at that point mark the cable jacket. This is the insertion depth. Just push the connector up to that point and go ahead and compress the connector and you're done. This is a Snap-N-Seal cable to F installation. Again, it's the same steps as I mentioned prior. The only difference is the cable insertion depth. Just make sure the end of the cable dielectric is in line with the groove that's on the connector. Mark the end of the connector alongside the cable jacket, and that is the insertion depth. Go ahead and push that until it's fully bottomed, and then you're ready to compress the connector.